just... Oh, this day starts out swimmingly. Okay. So, after a little bit of a break...
A little bit.
A little bit. 2 weeks is a little bit of a break. I think it was 2 weeks. I don't remember. What even is linear time at this point? So, we had last left our intrepid adventurers in Freeport, the kind of middle of the sea town, which acts as almost like a customs port for the continent of Iskandrin.
Scotty.
The crew was busy resupplying themselves to make their journey further towards wherever it is that Scotty's vision was leading them. Assumedly through a desert at some point, which some, if not all of your companions or crewmates, however you wish to imagine your relationship with them is, makes them a little uncomfortable as they come from the south, which is mostly an Arctic area. In fact, I don't think there's a single one of you, save for maybe Nicole, who is used to, no, it looks like the captain and his navigator are the only ones here who have been in more temperate waters. All the rest of you are ice babies. Coming from the various southern snow-covered regions. You spent some time wandering around Freeport, getting accustomed to some of the various different cultural things that came from all over the world. Some conversations were had. Roro continues diligently on his training. Who doesn't like to play sandbag tic-tac-toe anymore?
I have a lovely tramp stamp now. Thank you.
Yes, you do. Yes. And last we left off, that was what Roro was up to, and Scotty was following Tallow and Syl around as they were just kind of being tourists, essentially.
That makes her sound a bit like a stalker.
Wow.
Well, you're part of that touristy group now. And we're not saying that Scotty isn't a stalker.
She isn't.
She could be.
But she's not.
Yet.
Yeah.
Well, her question, on the other hand, very stalkerish.
Nah, I don't think it was that stalkerish.
It's all Tallow's fault anyway.
Oh, sure. Sure. So we'll pick up then with the three of you kind of meandering through some of the market skiffs. If there was anything more that you wished to accomplish.
At that point, Scotty was just trying to escape and go back to the boat.
Well, if you're trying to slip away, it doesn't seem like either of the two mind your. Doesn't seem like either of the two mind your presence.
She just doesn't want to impose.
Well, that's up to you whether or not you're thinking you are.
Would you like to roll for it, or?
Well, of course Scotty thinks she is. Do you not know her yet?
Well, then actions are up to you.
She will, yeah, she'll dip out and head back towards the boat. slowly.
All right, you get back to the boat. As soon as you get back up on deck, you see Roro kind of doing his Karate Kid thing, balancing on a post, and you see Gil kind of a few paces away from him, juggling what look to be like handballs, with a grin on his face. And you see him flick one of them at Roro. Let's see, where is all of this?
Ouch.
This is abuse.
Roro will have you make an acrobatics check, please.
Beat that bitch. Oh.
All right, yeah, go ahead and keep mouthing off. This is
That
good
was
for you.
inner dialogue, not coming out.
You need to work on that.
Announcing that it's inner first.
No, keeping your inner dialogue inner.
Yeah, that would probably be helpful.
Here. How about that?
Yeah, except for people can still see that. So. I don't know.
Oh. Well.
So yeah, Scotty, you come up to see him wing one of these handballs at at Roro, and you see him it kind of takes him in the shoulder a little bit, and he does this kind of like heel pirouette, rolling with the impact, and the sandbag kind of like drops off a couple of feet, and drops and rolls like a couple inches off to the side here, but he's standing very firm, now balancing on one leg. As Gil gives kind of a nod to that.
Think you might have another not inner dialogue.
Well, if that's what you're asking for. This one sails pretty wide. Scotty, go ahead and roll me acrobatics.
What's wrong, Gil? Getting a little tired?
Oh, good. That's based on Dex. Ooh, look, I did it.
Hey, you did it. So, as you're balancing there, mouthing off, because apparently that first round wasn't enough for you. He kind of reels back to huck another one at you. Kind of sees Scotty, gives a nod, and as he kind of throws it, it spins off the other end of his hand. It kind of goes sailing over and kind of lands and shifts, resting at Scotty's feet.
What's wrong, Scotty? You got an arm on you? You want to throw it at this?
If you want to throw one at him, go right ahead.
She'll pick up the bag and walk it over to Gil and just kind of place it in his hand.
Rude.
And then take quite a few steps back.
Oh, come on. You don't want one?
What, you don't want one, Scotty?
Seriously, he's getting more mouthy. You might want to throw something at him. It's part of his training. It's all right.
I don't know. I'm not a big enough target.
You can do that for me. I'm not interested.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Oh, damn. No!
So he takes the one that Scotty put back in his hand and just seeing you just give all kinds of lip. He kind of rear backs and just lets it go, impacting you square in the chest. You're going to have another check on your hand.
Acrobatic?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh yeah, no. You. Oh fucking double flub. See, RN Jesus knows the way. So you take this thing square in the chest. It knocks the absolute wind out of you, and you go flying backwards onto your ass, and then just kind of lying there on your back for a few seconds. It's just so you relearn how to breathe. Because that was 7. that was 7 non-lethal, which I believe dropped you to 4 technical hit points right now.
Oh.
So you are just lied out there. He'll offer Scotty the last one. He's like, you can tag him while he's down.
That doesn't seem fair.
All right, we'll let you rest for now.
Gasping for air.
Yeah, pretty much.
Scotty will go over and see if she can help him to his feet, or at least up sitting.
How nice. You do love me.
No.
No.
Roro, of course, accepts the hand. Not being able to stand up, obviously.
Oh, you're able to stand. You're a little shaky on your feet at first, but you're not down and out yet. It just took you by surprise.
Yeah, the
We'll
gill
see.
can actually throw something. Oh.
Sure, it's not like he knocked you down to a third of your hit points during the first part of this, right?
I see training's going well.
So well. Fantastic. Why do you ask?
I think Gil's enjoying it more than you are.
Pain. And he gets to yell at me and hit me and whip me as much as he wants to.
Scotty's face turns absolute red.
And the best part is, he asked me to do it.
Nuh-uh.
I mean, if you want to stop training, that's on you, really.
I never said anything about stopping training.
Well, you asked me to do it.
Nuh-uh.
You asked me for the training. This is what I had to go through. Now, at least you're not complaining about it. So, that's a good thing.
I've learned some lessons here.
Don't mouth off. Who are we kidding? That's not a lesson to learn.
I don't think he's ever going to learn that lesson.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Well, everyone loves this mouth.
Yeah, we're just gonna leave that one alone.
Are we leaving port soon?
God, I hope so. I mean, I know some people wanted to get off and wander around, but I I don't want to hang around here as much as possible.
Are you worried about something?
Yes. Some people just don't let the past die out. That's all I'm saying.
Not vague at all. That was inner Scotty dialogue.
Oh, was it? Would you like to roll for that one?
She's got more control over her lips than you do.
Well, why don't you ask Gil for his personal experience on that?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, when Gil flirts with Scotty, she's a mess. When Gil flirts with Roro, it's totally accepted.
I think it's acceptable all the time. But eventually you'll see Nicole come up and talk to one of his crewmates who goes headed off off the ship and just kind of like disappearing into the crowd. All right, we're going to we're going to get Tallow and Syl back up here, and then we're going to take ourselves off, all right?
That sounds like a long time to wait.
Well, she should be back. We're going to be leaving within the hour at this point. Scotty, you know where we're going yet?
Turns a darker shade of purple. I thought we agreed the port near the desert.
Just making sure.
Nothing else. I have nothing new or different to report.
Okay.
Scotty, that's an interesting color.
Flares.
Gil will again wiggle that sandbag at you.
Kind of ducks behind Scotty.
You know what? You go ahead and keep one of these just in case. Gil will hand Scotty one of the sandbags. You know, just in case.
She'll study it and then look at her claws. I think I've got it covered.
Oh yeah, but this won't kill him. It'll just send a message.
Roro vaguely, well, not really vaguely, very detailedly remembers ice breath next to his own face. Back in the first fight, remember that? When you almost killed the entire town?
I almost killed the entire town. Okay.
Well, you did work him over pretty well. Just back from the back there's Gil, come on, we got to get to work. Yeah, all right, I'm coming. Don't murder each other before we get out of town. Wait till we're on the ocean. That way we can easily hide a body. So
Nobody's looking at him when he mouths off. He whispered over to Scotty.
Hands him the ball.
Evil Corinne! Evil Corinne!
Well, I mean, if you really want to, that's your life.
Roro just kind of puts his hands behind his back and lowers his head so he doesn't think too much into it. You can't give me these options. I will actually do them.
Consider it part of your training of control.
Well, then I guess I'm doing really well.
Oh, that would have been hilarious. Go ahead, try and throw it at him. Do it, I dare you.
Never.
Well, you have a sense of life preservation.
Oh, what?
Life preservation? You want to live.
I do. Why do you think I ran?
Would you stop?
So, about 15 minutes go by as the ship has begun bustling with the other deckhands and whatnot, getting everything, the last minute preparations made. You see Tallow and Syl come wandering up with a couple of bundles in hand, and they dip below deck to drop that off before getting the rest of it underway and moving on.
Whoa, you bumped it me down the street?
You almost hear the groan from the wheel as you're pulling out, just like.
Roro, I thought they taught you some other songs.
They're just not as catchy as Row Your Boat.
Is it because you're in it?
No.
Weapons grade narcissism.
It's okay, Scotty. We'll find you a song.
I don't sing.
Maybe you should try.
I don't see that happening.
No, maybe if you move your hair a little bit further behind your ears, you'll see a lot more.
Walks away.
Walks.
And just silently, you had Dottie just watching this exchange, going,
Taking bets.
Just terrible things were about to happen.
That's as much of Roro as Scotty can handle.
Bye, Scotty. See you later. I'll come find you.
It's actually more there's actually more of him than I thought was going to be handled, to be honest.
Thanks.
She's trying to like Roro. He just makes it really difficult.
This is true.
I mean, it's not a lie. He's a difficult person. It's why I left him.
Mm-hmm. So, it's a few days to Altair from what they say. And it will be explained that Altair is basically the southern point of entry to the Symaxis continent. And yeah, you have a couple of days of travel on hand.
Scotty will spend most of that time away from both Gil and Roro.
That's rude. All we want to do is love you.
That's the problem.
Types of loving you may vary.
I mean, what?
So, moving on. She's also studying that spell and other aspects of the journal.
Okay.
Roro, of course, is just falling through with whatever Gil has him doing.
Oh, yeah.
Raining, he's probably Probably helping out around the ship, unlike other people.
Scotty's helping out on the ship. I was only accounting for her free time.
Oh,
Yeah. It's that's part of the problem is accounting for the free time. Um, unless you're ditching out on him, learning the nighttime navigation.
She's not ditching out on him there.
she took a couple nights though.
Yeah, probably the first 2 nights after that one thing. She probably avoided him.
I'm just gonna put out there non-Roro dialogue. The Scotty needs to get laid.
Might not hurt.
No, it might hurt a little bit at first.
Can you feel the seething?
Oh yeah, I can almost imagine the vein popping into your forehead.
But yeah, Scotty will continue her nightly lessons with Gil.
And on that note, the night you quote unquote report in for that, it's kind of like nothing happened. There's no there's no deal made out of it. No, hey, why'd you run away? No teasing. No. It's kind of taken in stride.
That's appreciated.
He's not spending enough time with.
But yeah, I mean, you go straight back to that kind of comfortable companionship, learning about the stars. You know, you're starting to develop a pretty decent map. Actually, give me an. Let's see, what to check for this? All right, we will say either an investigation or a nature check, whichever one you would prefer.
An investigation or a what?
Investigation or nature. Okay. Good job.
It helps to be a bookworm.
It does. So, yeah, you are nicely compiling these pages of notes, and it seems like in port, Gil had purchased a large a large tome that was weathered for nautical usage. So it's kind of like the pages are specially treated to be water resistant. It's kind of more like a vellum rather than like a paper. Heavy set book, and this has been put forth to you, and it is basically this. I mean, because the size of like your tome is the size of like an encyclopedia essentially, but this one is easily double that size and is used for you to basically draw out the star maps as you've been seeing them. And it's been kind of a relaxing endeavor for you. You've been more the scholarly type for as long as you can remember. Why? Care to explain yourself, child?
Child.
You're acting like one.
Why are you drawing on my map?
Why does he have more options than I do?
I didn't know that was
Never
going to
mind,
do
I
that.
see that.
Oh, you people drawing on my map now.
I'm not doing anything.
So
So
it's going very well, and you're able to make good navigation. And based on how long you've been traveling, working together, you're starting to get some of the curvature of how this world is and the shifting of the stars. And between the two of you are able to keep yourselves very well on track.
and with things going so comfortably with their lessons at night, Scotty will to avoid him during the day.
Good.
Cult development.
It's what we call. It's basically we're lulling them into a sense of security. Um,
Don't ruin it.
but with that, because you've made some pretty good rolls on that, you can now have proficiency in navigation tools.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, when do I get to go up
That's
one
exciting.
dexterity? Huh?
Ability training is a lot harder than that.
Shut up.
It's true.
Nuh-uh.
Is that something I will find?
It's under tools.
Okay, I did find it. Thank you.
And it will be an intelligence-based skill.
I'm trying to figure that out. Oh, okay. Awesome.
There you go.
What do I get?
Bruises. You don't get a marketable skill, essentially, but with Scotty having taken more of a focus into charting out stars and basically doing the nighttime navigation, you were again put in charge of stock and inventory. So you're basically keeping track of what is, what the level of your supplies are, the rate in which they are being consumed.
I'm helpful.
You are being helpful because, again, part of your upbringing was to kind of loosely, as you were paying attention, keeping track of, shipments and whatever that had to be sent out. I want to say that job is called you being a quartermaster.
I'm a quartermaster.
That's good.
I don't hold me to that if I find out that that's incorrect, but you were definitely an inventory specialist.
So should I just go around and tell everyone that they should refer to me as master from now on?
There's nothing stopping you from trying. We'll see where that gets you.
Hey Scotty,
Yes.
you know what you should call me?
What?
Master.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
No, and why is that?
Cause I am the master.
Of what?
Well, if I say your life, you're going to run away and get mad.
Or I might find one of those sandbags.
Would you like to blow it?
You know where they're kept.
Thank you. What?
You have done nothing mastery over me.
You're rude. Inner dialogue, not outer. But I'm the quartermaster.
You're very good at that, but
Thank you, I know.
you're welcome.
Boy. So this also frees up a lot of the some time for Gil, because now he doesn't have to kind of stretch his sleep schedule out now that there's someone who can navigate and split shifts with him. So he's happy by that. It gives him more time to train Roro. Hey, just because one is true doesn't mean the other isn't.
Not a lie. All I'm going to say is he probably likes this. A little bit too much.
Yeah.
Well, look
And
at that.
of course, Scotty is very excited to Gil.
To what, Gil?
Be useful to Gil?
Okay. You just cut out, so I had to.
Useful. How?
In letting him sleep.
Oh, well.
So we will say at the moment here. So we've got people doing these things. That's well arranged. Scotty, it's basically one of the times that you're going to be on the wheel. The way things have essentially broken up between your schedule and Gil's is that you switch off kind of at noon. So you kind of both split. You both have a night shift and a day shift that kind of transition. So it's your turn at the wheel. He'd leave it up to you whether or not you want to take the basically the morning or the evening one.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Gil will leave it up to you whether or not you want to take the morning to noon or noon to, midnight kind of shift.
Scotty would prefer morning to noon.
So like basically midnight to noon kind of deal. So you get to see the sunrise.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, during one of the nights, your shift goes by. Goes by uneventfully. Give me a navigational check. Let's put that skill to use right away.
Wait. Which one is that?
Basically, you're clicking on your navigator's tools.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Okay.
In we're lost. We are never going to get there.
Well, thankfully there's two people, so eventually there's 2 or 3 people who can actually do navigating, so all right. So based on this, this is your first shift alone. You've spent a couple of nights learning and kind of having done this, but this is your first solo run. And, you know which star, based on the map that you had, which way to go. And it is starting to creep into that dawn where you have this, this kind of this pins and needles feeling as there's nobody up on deck at the moment. One of the rare times where you're just alone on the top of this ship. And it might have only been for a couple of minutes, but there's this feeling where it's Just in the back of your mind, it's almost like this is your boat. There's no one else here, just you on the ocean, and you see again that thin razor of blue on the horizon as it starts widening and widening. And then there's that prickling sensation that just kind of wells up at you. Memories of the vision you had several nights ago. And as the sun rises, you almost see this faint shimmer that's out of place in the water, kind of heading off in a direction that you weren't directly navigating towards, based off of the map. Because you were essentially heading, for the most part, west. But there's this faint shimmer that seems to be heading... let me make sure that I'm not lying to anybody. That shows you moving more northwest instead of due west. Like more north.
The shimmer is more north, or that she's found herself heading in.
No, you've managed to keep the boat on course. You know, you have the sextant, you have all the navigator's tools at the wheel here, and you being a detail-oriented, diligent type, especially because this is your first time on, you're like, no, keep it straight, and you've done that using all the tools at your disposal. You have kept this boat straight, but as dawn rises, you notice this out of place shimmer, kind of leading off into a different direction from where you've been navigating to.
If she's waiting and watching the car, does it change a lot as the sun continues to rise?
Give me perception. It's kind of hard to see because you kind of get the glare of the sun rising, and soon that sparkle is just kind of ever present and just glittering, and you seem to have lost it.
We're all gonna die.
And she's alone.
You being alone on there was probably only like the span of 2 or 3 minutes before other people were kind of come back up on deck with either they're doing crewman-y type things, because you've got like 4 generic-ish crewmen, 4 other random Haldiri men who are just doing boat things.
Like
Okay.
rowing?
Like tending to the sails.
Like rowing?
Okay, I know what I want her to do. I think she'll kind of adjust the ship's direction towards the glimmer, but she's going to ask one of the crewmen to fetch Gil.
Okay. Oh shit.
Oh,
Okay.
no. No?
Okay. Go and give me another check on your navigation.
Haha.
Okay, so you might not have been able to see the shimmer, after the sun had reached a different clip, but you remember the direction it got you, and it was part instinct, part how do I say part it's just based on the memory, and it's only was a couple minutes. You're like, wait, no, it was this way, and you adjust to where you're pretty much dead on to where you believe that that shimmer was stretching out into the horizon. Just a moment or two later, you see the crewman that you had sent off just like come back up to you, and he looks a little like shaken. He's just like, he'll be up in just a moment, and he'll kind of rush off a different direction. You see that he has a welt growing on his shoulder.
Grimaces.
What's that?
Grimaces.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, you could be Rebel's twin. Twinsies.
Yeah, I don't think so. Okay, now let me double check what layer is this actually on. Okay, yeah. I thought so. So at that point, Gil comes up from the stairs behind you, because his cabin was down here a level or two below. So Gil arises. He's coming out of the stairwell. You see that he's again just absolutely, he's soaked wet. You see he's adjusting the belt to his pants, just kind of coming up. Yeah, what do you need?
Sorry to wake you.
I wasn't sleeping. Whatever.
Okay, I changed our direction.
Now, why's that?
I'm hoping that I may have gotten a sign on a better way to go about my vision and seeing what I want.
All right. Anything else you should know about then?
Well, I'm not certain about anything, but I saw a glimmer and I'm following it. I'm not positive it'll be helpful.
Well, that'll be fun.
I just wanted you to know. Wouldn't be surprised later.
Good idea. All right. Well, just keep it written down, and yeah, we'll deal with it when we switch off. Then, kind of pat you on the shoulder. Just, I'm going back down.
Okay.
Go ahead and give me a perception check. Why not?
Why not? I could think of a few why not.
Would you like to roll for that as well? Would you like to give me a charisma check?
No, because I don't have any.
So yeah, you definitely noticed that he was flushed. Not like embarrassed, but you notice that his breathing was a little I don't know, more rapid. But he was either how can I say either exercising or agitated by something.
She'll probably take that as agitated.
And he will disappear below deck for a little while.
Thank you.
He does not run into you on his way down.
For everyone's safety, I'm assuming.
Kind of. But an hour or two later, activity will again start picking up on the boat. Come on. Send to... Why? That's not it's not a map icon. This is why I can't wait to do things in person again. So we've got okay. All right, so you are milling about with your day. Roro, the morning was actually yours to deal with.
He was
No.
lying to me.
Yeah, you had Gil. Gil wasn't exactly going through any training with you this morning.
Oh, okay.
You had the day off.
Wow. What is this?
Every once in a while, you have to actually let your muscles recover from the hell that you're put through.
Every once in a while.
Every once in a while. So, is there anything in specific you were up to?
Nothing that comes to mind.
Okay. So, people are going about their general tasks. You have Tallow and Syl up at the head of the boat, discussing some, partially discussing things. Otherwise, just kind of watching. You make your headway. Dahadi has made an appearance at the back of the boat. Nicole is just kind of going around doing captainly things.
Captainly things.
Yeah, he's got to manage everything. He's got a lot of responsibility. And Gil is kind of off to the side with what looks to be kind of a hooked net. It kind of looks like a thick fishing line, but at the end of it widens out into a net with kind of a barbed interior. And you see him kind of take that and huck it out into the water as he splashes in, sinks, and kind of starts dragging a little bit. Apparently he's doing some kind of fishing.
Well, that makes sense. Speaks to his kind.
Roll for sandbag. No, no, but with that, he's at that for about like 20 minutes or so, just before you see him kind of lurch down the rail a little bit and kind of pull himself up. It looks like he's caught something. From the dragnet, he starts grabbing it, starts pulling it in. He'll end up calling for a bit of assistance just to drag it up onto the boat.
Speak
All
to
right.
them, convince them to come.
So go ahead and give me athletics if you're assisting him, Aurora.
Falls over the floor.
Well, 12 is not spectacular, but it's not devastating.
Not a critical failure.
No, it's not. It's not even. It's not really a failure. I mean, you're above half at the very least. So you're definitely you're essentially what you're doing in this point is that you're holding on to the rope enough, and you're kind of probably over more towards this way, whereas you're behind him. As he's feeding you lengths of rope and you're holding onto it, you're not helping him make any progress, but you're making sure that he doesn't lose any as he's readjusting his grip. Essentially, he's able, with your assistance, to kind of take his hands off the rope, reach down over the board, and pull it up, and you've managed to anchor the rope. Every time that he lets go, you're able to keep it from slackening in.
Hear that? I'm anchor.
You're helping. You're certainly helping.
I'm a helper.
You are a helper. We're going to have you roll perception as well. In fact, both of you can go ahead and do that.
Everyone knows what's up.
So there's actually quite a bit of line that was drug out, and by line it's this thickly braided rope that's acting as the quote unquote fishing line. And as you start seeing the greater shape of what looks to be a net, of what looks to be like the kind of the basin part of the net, it's looking pretty full. In fact, it's looking rather solid, like a big ass shape.
Lovely.
So,
He's cute.
it's also not as... Yeah, there it is. So it becomes a little alarming once this shape seems to be a lot bigger than the net, and where some of it starts trailing, some of the shadows beneath the waves to start kind of peeling off away from it, and start wrapping up and curling to these brownish, rubbery-looking, textured arms, we'll say, reaching out of the water and start curling their way up onto the boat.
Tell it to go back, Gil. Speak to its kind. Tell it to go back.
I will feed you to it. Okay, and of course, we don't have anything. Maybe that'll work. Yeah, we'll hope that works. That'll work for now. So, yeah.
No.
That will be initiatives from people.
You know what? Go away. Never mind, Scotty, go away.
That is probably the worst one I've ever done.
But you know what? In narrative, it makes sense. You got shit you're doing.
I'm glad I can make sense, but that hurts my heart a little bit.
I mean, in theory, there are people who could roll less than you, maybe?
I don't think so.
There's really not.
I don't think so either. Seeing as how you have no modifier.
Scotty always ends up at the bottom.
Yes, she does.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Brofist.
Okay. This is too much.
Yep. That's fine. Maybe it'll be dead by the time it's turn.
It's okay. If you get rid of the 3 on mine, then it's lower than Scott.
Okay. My only regret is that the initiative counter doesn't actually say big F off squid.
I wish it did.
Yep.
I think maybe I can set it to do so.
So, you're trying to tell me that Gil doesn't have a skill called Speak to His Kind?
Are you making mention of this?
Isn't there a language where you can talk to strangers? Isn't that how he speaks?
Hmm. Technically, in 3.5, there was a language called Aquan that allowed you to talk to things of water elemental persuasion. But in 5th edition, it's been all of the 4 elemental languages have been kind of roped into the one primordial language. So,
Huh. That's yes.
I mean, if you have primordial, you could attempt to talk to it.
So Gil's not gonna let go of the rope and let Roro go right into the squid thing.
Oh, he's debating. There is. Mm-hmm.
Rude, you're the one who keeps making snarky remarks.
A giant squid just crawled out of the water.
So you deal with it with snark?
Yeah. I literally have a spell called Vicious Mockery.
This is
should not
true,
be
he does.
Okay. Sorry.
It's okay. Do better next time. Anyways, Gil, would you like to go?
Gil starts backing the hell up as this thing has gotten onto the under the edge of the boat and is starting to kind of its way up. I don't know if my sound effects made it on there, but why not?
Yep. You
Okay.
did good.
Good. I'm glad the schlorping has worked, but as he's moving back towards the middle to not be in hey fucking pull him off distance, one of the tentacles goes and swipes at him. Apparently, this thing has a pretty substantial reach to him.
Crap.
Which smacks Gil across the torso once this decides it wants to.
Give him a tramp stamp.
Yeah, it was kind of like along the ribs.
That's
As
all good.
as he makes his way back and just goes, "All right, I caught us dinner. Good news. Less good news. We have to kill it first." Which will bring it to Dahadi, who had disappeared off to the back end of the boat.
He's like, no, we're not doing this.
Just kind of looks over at this thing emerging on the side of the ship. And now that it's on the side of the ship is kind of listing a little bit to the side as the balance has been suddenly kind of thrown off it. So, you know, that's a thing. Um... 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So Dahadi is over here. 5, 10, 15. He can... You see Dahadi coming from the upper decks and kind of looking over... gives Scotty kind of a look as he's kind of passing by and just... What has he done this time?
He was over ambitious in fishing.
Again.
He's kind. Come on, Scotty. He spoke to his kind.
She doesn't make those kind of jokes.
Maybe she should loosen up a bit. Shut up, Quinn.
It's probably going to take all of us to get it down.
How far do we need to be from him?
I'll cover you. Scotty, you gain a inspiration dice because he'll do that.
Okay.
Which will be a D8 to one of your D20 rolls in the next 10 minutes.
Okay.
So big fuck off squid is on the side of the boat here. And yeah, he'll probably come up to this. The boat is still lurched to the side, but now that it's kind of crawling its way up, it's starting to right itself.
Is this causing Scotty navigational issues as she's probably still trying to handle the wheel?
You're still on course. It's just the boat is kind of at an angle.
Okay.
It hasn't been turned at all, so this squid will be making its attack.
Towards the pretty one, I'm sure.
You are getting struck at. Now, I believe your armor is what, 13?
13.
Okay.
How far is it? Nothing. You're fine.
So you take 5 points of... you will take either 5 points of bashing damage, or you can use your cutting words.
No, I'll take that.
Alright. So that's 5 points of damage, and you need to make either an athletics or an acrobatics check. You are grappled and restrained as this thing slaps at you and wraps around it. And you feel these suckers just kind of latch on and adhere to the exposed skin that you've got everywhere. It's just these little suction cups.
inner dialogue be like, I hope Gil doesn't get jealous.
Good job.
Good job.
So, yeah. The other two will go towards Gil. As this thing is emerging onto the boat. And it's got the net on top of its face. And you see where some of the hooked barbs have kind of latched into it. But Gil manages to duck both of those. Tallow, 5. Tallow rushes towards the stairs. Well, I'll be damned. The hell is one of those things? And, why is... Apparently that didn't go through. Come on. Alright, so he's used up one of those. I love how tiny the icons look. Well, we've definitely got ourselves a feast when this is over.
Rero's just screaming. I'm getting screaming at the top of the lungs, around like a rag doll.
Ew! Ew!
So if you guys see some beauty flinging across the air, it's Rero.
So, Roro, it is your turn.
Am I able to actually really do anything because I'm restricted?
You can use... Okay, you are restrained. So you don't have use of your arms. You have a 0 movement speed. You can do things that don't require either of those.
Screaming is an option.
Screaming is very much an option. You can also use your action to try and escape the grapple, which would be an opposed athletics or a... basically, a grapple check is going to be you rolling your athletics or acrobatics, whichever one's better for you, against the critter. Because that's all it is, really, is a critter.
I can use my vicious mockery of pure scream.
You could if you wanted to attack it, but you would still be grappled.
Okay, so to
And at its mercy. I'm just going to say you're grappled by it. And it pretty much has control of where you go.
Great. So you said athletics to escape?
Athletics or acrobatics, whichever is the better skill for you.
Oh. Yep, I'm not going anywhere.
Well, that was the number to beat. This thing is apparently alarmed by just the shrieking. And you just barely manage to, kind of flex and pull and what little strength you have in your arms to kind of pop these suction cups off of you. Like, just kind of right on your left pec there. One of these things kind of comes off with a, and you already see this ring around it, kind of cutting into your tattoos. But you're able to push it off enough and squidgy out that you're now on the deck and free of it.
Yay!
The number to beat was 8 apparently, and you just barely did that. So that is your action. You still have your bonus and your move.
Yeah, I'm going to move the fuck back.
As you're running away from it,
Oh.
Oh no.
so you were right here, so from it you are, so it's right in there. So you were right in here, where like a whip, it swishes across the air and kind of tags you right behind the shoulder blades for 6 points of damage, and you have to make another check.
Another athletics check?
Yes. As you were stopped right in there where you were trying to get away, smacked you in the back, and you not only did it just sting the hell out of you, because you're just like, you got one of those wet slaps on the back, but you feel that cup at the end of its tendril just kind of just onto you again as you are spun almost like like tango style, and wrapped around in its grasp again.
Are you freaking oh my god.
You do still have your bonus action.
Do I quit?
You absolutely do. So if you have a bonus anything that you would like to do that doesn't
heal craft.
What's that?
The only bonus I have is the heal craft.
Okay. I mean, you do have your bardic inspiration as well.
Inspire it to let me go.
I mean,
I think that's all I'm gonna do for now.
okay.
But just know there is vicious screaming and cursing.
Ew! Ah! Fuck! 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 Just more high pitched and nasally.
These. So picture like a 12-year-old girl.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm picturing.
That's good. Thank you. Rude.
Yeah, whatever. All right. So that is... Okay, so that is a first level spell there.
Your first level spell.
God, I wish I had first level spells.
Is the spell happen to be let Roro go?
No.
Oh, well. If anyone has that, greatly appreciated.
I actually believe that's 60 foot. $90 even better. And that will be for strength, we'll say. As just barely audible over the din of you hear this slight caw in the distance, followed by a second and a third, and it sounds like the kind of the angry chirping of ravens, essentially, as you see these shadows kind of from below the deck, not from below the deck, but from kind of from over the side, which looks to be these shadowy flapping figures that start to swirl around the squid. Before it lands, they kind of coalesce and land into one, shadowy raven-looking symbol, kind of in between its eyes. And with that, Syl will take a couple of shots with arrows. And holy crap, is she marksmaning. And okay. Alright,
And you
necrotic.
get that bitch.
So yes, one hit, one crit on this thing. Holy crap. $19, $26, $30. A grand total of 42 points of damage between as Syl pulls up her bow, stretches out an arrow, which seems to glow with this kind of ultraviolet light, and she fires out 2 arrows that sink into this creature.
Thanks for missing Roro. You're the real MVP.
Well, to be fair, you didn't really piss Syl off, so she's not trying to kill you.
Roro's been nothing but an angel.
You hear that? That's the sound of no one believing you.
Wow.
Nicole will just kind of start very cautiously approaching this thing. Because this is not something he directly wants to get himself involved with. But, yeah.
You mean like some people?
Yeah, well. Yeah.
Not that it was my fault.
Not that this was actually not your fault. Congratulations, Roro.
A round of applause, everybody. Clap for me.
No.
My
So
God,
as Nicole goes up and he's kind of taking an approach to this, kind of jabbing at it with his warfork, doesn't make any doesn't damage it at all, but he's made his approach. Scotty.
you hear faintly, do better.
Would it take up her action to rope the wheel so that they don't lose navigation?
Give me, let's see. Give me a check on your dexterity, we'll say.
Ah, of course you had to pick dexterity. Such a sad thing.
Okay. Apparently, Pandora decided it wanted to start raining again. Alright, 11 Yeah, it'll take your action.
Rude. Does she have to tie up the wheel, or?
You don't have to do anything, whether you think it's a good idea or not.
Well, are they going to lose navigation if she doesn't?
What do you think?
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't drive boats.
You don't do.
Depends on how long away from the wheel you are.
Okay, what if she stays right there at the wheel and she only takes her hands off seconds?
So you're basically staying at the wheel, but only, like, freeing your hands to do your magic shit.
Yes.
You should probably be okay.
As the boat just flips over, everyone dies.
It just flips.
Thanks.
And not even just tilts over, just flat out, it just jumps out of the water, 180s, it is now underwater.
Nice.
Just swan dives to Atlantis. But no, if you stay right where you're at, you can still have command of the wheel. Hell, technically, you could probably even be right here if you wanted.
For now, I can stay where I am. Okay, so because keeps her in range.
Whoever sneezes.
I'm allergic to squid.
And can I add the D8 if I need to?
That's you're not rolling a d20 for any of this.
Oh.
You're not making an attack or a check.
Oh, I thought that was for like a D20. Okay, I understand now.
Yeah, it'll basically help you with your attack rolls, your skill checks, and your saving throws.
Okay, never mind then.
But yeah, Shatter just kind of goes off.
Yeah, does it kill Roro too?
No,
No.
she was aiming right here, and it's within the 10-foot radius. I'm very careful at checking.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Scotty is very detailed.
And Roro's flinging through the air.
She tried to.
Yeah, but you're on an arm, so just know if she hits you with a spell, she probably did it on purpose.
Oh, good.
All right, Constitution. It does make it save, so it takes 4 points of thunder damage.
Disappointing. And that was it for me. Seeing as she's going to return to she with a squid crawling on it.
Okay. Giving it over to Gil, who's gonna have to step in and start wailing on this thing. Okay, yes, there is that. Okay, let me double check something real quick here, because this might actually be important. Because, I never have my book just on hand here.
Nope, never.
And it's always back on the shelf because I put my toys away. Okay, that's good to know.
Can you send that skill somewhere over here?
Yeah, I don't think that would work. All right, first and foremost, now that it's his turn, fuck. We're going to use that. Yeah, he only needs it at that level, so. Submit. as before he steps in, he just kind of waves his arm around, and some of the sea spray that the boat kicks up starts coalescing around the squid's face, who has to make a charisma save. And fucking does it. He's like, well, shit.
Can someone do something about this thing? Ah.
Well, what Gil will do is he takes his step in and swings a spear at it. And yeah. First one connects pretty heavily for 9 points of damage. He takes his swing, and the blade cuts into its hide, but he just looks at it and goes, "Oh, that's son of a," as it seems to shrug off some of the damage that this blow would deal to it. So, yeah, there's that. He'll take his offhand for that. His extra attack, and then key. And eventually this will all catch up. Eventually it will all catch up.
Are you breaking in and out?
Yeah, my connection kind of faltered. So I'm just seeing if all of this goes through. Alright. So what it missed was one, let's see, that unarmed extra bonus. Okay, so I need one more for flurry. So as he starts wailing at this thing, I don't know what the armor. Okay, that's the armor. So he hits twice more for a grand total of 5 points of more damage. Just fuck, this thing's hide is real thick.
No kidding. Ah.
15, 20, 25, 30. Stahadi's just moving forward. Yeah, that's a whole lot of I really don't want to get involved with.
Ah.
Let's see, what is the range on this again? 60 feet. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Yeah, that's enough. We'll do one of these little bibbity boops there. Are you okay, Roro?
Ah. My hair, it's going everywhere. Oh, so sweet.
We'll get you down from there. So you'll gain 4 hit points. Wait, no, that's... You gain more than 4 hit points. For some reason, it didn't put his stat according to that. So you'll gain 9 hit points.
I love you. You're the hottie. I don't know. I'm just yelling.
Dahadi, pleased that he healed you for 9 hit points, is still a little alarmed by you.
Takes it right, Doc.
He's just like, I'm not exactly comfortable with that.
This guy's over here, welcome to my life.
So, big F-off squid has got
He's not
tentacles.
allowed to get a turn.
Yeah, he gets a turn.
By order of the ruler, me, he does not get a turn.
You're the ruler, huh?
I am. I'm in charge of this bitch. Y'all just don't know it yet.
Sure. So he's already got one of his tendrils around you, Roro. So we're just going to have him do that at advantage.
What?
Not that he needed advantage for
Nope.
that. So basically, this thing's got you wrapped up and off your feet, and it just kind of whiplashes you into the deck. Just, and there's a heavy crack. You don't know if it was one of your ribs or if it was the planks below you, but something painful lurched pretty hard there. So that's 20 points of damage.
Oh.
And we have a tentacle going to Gil. Wants to start control. Holy shit. Okay. Well, that's a thing that happens. Apparently this squid is quite done with our shit already.
So you think he's done?
So that's 15 points of damage to Gil. Come on, register. Please. No, not 155. 15. Fuck. As Gil has to make his escape of 16. No, he is also restrained now.
Yay! Is that just me? I mean, wait, no.
I mean, sure, if you want to be that petty, that's fine. And Nicole will be taking an attack. He will be getting hit for 8 points of damage. Pretty sure he's got... Yeah, he doesn't have an 18. Once it decides to register, because there we go. And Nicole has to make his escape, or try to. Oh yeah, he's fine. He gets whipped by one of these things and just kind of pushes it off with his fork.
Shouldn't
As
Sky
a-
like freeze this bitch?
What's that?
Shouldn't Sky just freeze this bitch?
Scotty has to sell the ship.
She freeze the bitch and get back to the wheel. God, it's just like clean up the mess, get back to the kitchen.
Oh wow. Okay. We can see why Roro is not exactly popular. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Tallow goes right into the fray.
Now, is Roro back in the air, or is he still just against the wood?
He's not in the air currently.
Is he knocked the fuck out?
He's not knocked out. You're just kind of
Oh, then he's going to yell, what are you?
as that's yeah, he's got. All right, let me double check. It's good. Yeah, as Tallow is armed with a giant wooden. He's got a wooden round shield and an axe in one hand. as he comes after this thing.
Studley.
He is a mighty Viking. And yeah, he definitely hits it.
Yeah, my vote's for Syl to make another. Because, like, clearly she's the only one really doing crap here.
Let's see, 16, 14. Yes, as the squid takes 7 points of damage as as he hacks into this thing. You're not wrong, Gilfan. This thing is hard to get into. And at the end of Tallow's turn, the squid is going to use its legendary action.
No. No.
To discharge a bolt of electricity at Syl.
What? What? This is bullshit. Bullshit.
However, Syl just kind of ducks it as it goes shooting off over her head. Roro.
That was just rude.
So you're on deck. The wind is kind of knocked out of you, but you're still able to act.
Are you restrained still?
I'm still restrained, right?
You are.
Am I able to cast spells?
If they do not have a somatic component. Because somatic is essentially being able to use your hands, and you're restrained.
So I can use Healing Word, which is
Purely vocal.
Is what?
Healing Word is purely vocal, so...
Okay, then I'm gonna actually have to just use that on myself.
Okay.
Can't cast that yet. No, you can't. Because I can't. I know you can.
Oh.
You should have second level spells. Okay, level 2.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Shut up.
So, with the mighty power intoned by Roro going, ow, 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 it's like bleeding off some of the pain. It doesn't hurt as bad anymore. You still have your action available to you, because Healing Word is a bonus. So you can use that to try and make your escape.
That's athletics, right?
Athletics or acrobatics, whichever is a better roll for you. 10. I thought acrobatics was higher for you.
No, athletics is a 4.
Oh, that's right. You're not quick or nimble, but you're surprisingly strong for a fragile elf.
Wow. Aren't they being swung around enough?
So it rolled a 21. Because it has disadvantage on its strength rolls right now.
Is that because it's Scotty? Oh.
No, that's because of the raven mark placed on it.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
All Syl's doing.
Ugh. Obviously, she's the only reason why we're going to get out of this alive. Again.
She'll start making her way. Yeah, she's gonna stay at the top of the stairs. That does not look like anything she wants to really get involved with quickly there.
She's smart.
Let's see, what is this? Oh, really? That's good to know. When do I have to pick that? Oh, when I roll damage. Okay. I'll keep that up. So she will draw back her bowstring as another arrow. This arrow of crackling ultraviolet energy forms as it's being drawn, and fires it a couple of times.
I like this bitch.
And yeah, we're gonna use 2 of those. And that is... And I spent... There, D10s. Okay. She takes a breath, and there's, again, just uttering from within her voice, it definitely seems to be like a murder of ravens, kind of as she's vocalizing this. Just the cawing of birds, and these energy-laced arrows seem to crackle a little more violently as they impact. So 13, 14, 15, 26, 37. There's definitely some marks starting to form on this thing.
I'm starting to. Have you not seen my body? That's all a giant mark at this point.
Yeah, you're getting kind of beaten up.
I'm never going to hear the end of this. I blame Gil for making me fight.
Before it did what?
Before this fight.
What about
You
before
made
this
me
fight?
Tired.
You had the day off.
Shh. No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. You were just kind of singing around on deck after taking inventory.
You know, I don't think I like your tone.
Don't worry. You won't have to hear it longer. Nicole will try and poke at this thing with his war fork. For a grand total of 3 points of damage.
You know, Nicole is actually very hot.
Yeah, everybody ignores him. He's the responsible young captain who's just kind of taking care of the ship and all that. No one goes and talks to him. So sad.
He's always so busy.
I talked to him once.
You did. Congratulations. Scotty. Oh my.
Can you?
No. Am I always being complained to?
Only issue. The fact that Dahadi's in the way.
See, I'm not. Just take him out.
Oh my.
I don't do.
Some people like Dahadi.
Yeah, some people like Dahadi. Scotty is one of them.
I am fleeing through the air. I could less about those on the ground.
You're not in the air yet.
So, since she wants to shoot an arrow, can she just yell at Dahadi to duck or something?
Yeah. And you do have higher ground, so I mean, it is kind of at an angle, and this thing is pretty giant. You wouldn't have to have him duck, but shouting it might be a courtesy anyway.
Ah!
Okay. So
You want me to shout for you?
No, she'll just yell at him to watch out.
Is she?
He'll dip down.
Is she going to actually yell this?
Yes.
Would you like me to impersonate for you?
No.
Oh.
Hey, hotte. That.
Well, there you go. You strike this thing pretty well. In fact, like kind of scarring off across the front of this thing's sloping forehead, and it starts to bubble and bleed. And the raven mark on the which you managed to kind of hit, it looks like it's starting to look frayed now. So it's looked like this mark that's been on this thing. It now looks like it's seen some shit. It's a ragged Angry Bird now.
Woohoo, Scotty!
But you burn into this thing for 10 points of damage. Whatever's up with this, apparently acid is something that it does not resist.
Good to know.
Gil has to use his turn to get the fuck out of this thing.
As Burrow yells at him to tell him to go back home.
Fuck it. This thing's pissed me off. We're eating it. And he manages to squirm away from this thing. So he's free. This thing's got enough of a reach on him that he's not going to go anywhere.
That's just rude.
Dahadi will kind of stoop in low and look to carve into it with his scimitars. And they are... It is a magical... Alright, good. So as he's coming there, he pulls out these scimitars, which seem to kind of... One seems to have kind of have a glow, have a subtle glow about it. The other one seems to kind of take in light to itself and kind of dim the edge around it. So it says 15, 22 points of damage.
I knew I liked you. Ow.
And let's see, there's something you can probably do here. Yeah, why not? Let's... No, there's actually nothing that could actually be done with that. Alright, so... Squid's turn.
Fan flippin-tastic.
So... It's got two tendrils open. It's going to snap one of them at Tallow. Which will miss. As he just kind of... As Tallow braces himself from behind the shield and kind of feels the impact and just kind of shoves it off. And he's like... He's got this look of, what the hell is this giant thing?
Yeah, that's around that bitch T.
Roro, it will let you go as you're just on the deck now. As the second tendril...
nickname, T.
As the second tendril will go on and try and slap at... No, okay, that doesn't work.
All sorts of broken up.
Apparently. Or that's just my disjointed thoughts. Which could be. So yeah, Roro's on the ground as it tries to slap at and get at Tallow, who again is just kind of holding there, bracing himself, and is deflecting these rubbery tentacles that come slapping at him. As yeah, we're gonna... see.
Was he carrying Robo with him?
No, you've been let go.
Ah, cool.
As it tries to slap at Tallow a couple of times, missing both, and just kind of starts going up and over Tallow.
Oh.
Frustrated that it's not able to grapple and manipulate him as he wanted to, starts moving up over and to where it wants to go. It takes a tentacle slap at Syl. Where that will hit for 10 points of damage. And that is not the right one. This is the right bubble. Come on. Alright, and Syl has to try and make an escape. And just barely makes it. Holy shit. Okay, so bringing it to Tallow.
Quinn?
Yes.
As a reminder, the squid gets to take 2d4 of acid damage.
Alright, go ahead and roll that.
Okay.
I didn't know if it was on your turn or its turn, so...
Its turn. I was looking at that. So,
Oh, good.
why can't I figure out to do this properly?
There's that dice tray off on the left-hand side.
Okay, I've got this now.
Alright, the rest of the acid burns off for 5 points. This thing is starting to look pretty unhappy with existence.
Could.
Relatable. That's where we're always.
Yeah. Tallow, who's just kind of looking up to the underside of this gargantuan squid, seeing parts of it he never really wanted to.
What kind of squid is it?
It's a big fuck-off squid, that's what it is. He'll take a hack at it, and holy crap, yeah.
Well, he chopped something off.
So that's 10 points of damage, because it resists him. But, yeah. Go Mark and Colossus Slayer. And at the end of Talow's turn, because he has that recharged now, the squid will use its legendary action to discharge another bolt of electricity at Syl. And that one will actually connect. Which actually reminds me, we need 2 Constitution saves. Okay, Syl's fine. Concentration is maintained. Roro.
Oh. Hey, girl. So I am no longer fleeing to the air.
No, you are on the ground. You are prone, but you can spend half your movement and get back up. But otherwise, you are free to act.
Okay. I was half my movement, and if I were to use, like, Thunder Wave, would that affect Tallow?
He is kind of under this thing. You could probably angle it up, like 3-dimensionally. This thing is on deck. This thing is probably a good 10 feet tall. So you have to imagine there's 10 feet there's like 5 or so feet above it, so you can target the space above him, kind of like angle it so where you wouldn't hit Talon.
Okay, I will go ahead and angle upward and do like nothing.
All right, Constitution save from the big F off squid.
Fail it.
Fails it. So that is 10 points of damage.
Bitch, that's right. Row your boat away.
So what else is Thunderwave doing?
Was what?
I don't imagine it is just damage.
No, it is actually. It's still supposed to like throw back. I think.
He has 10 feet, right?
I think so. I'm looking right now. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that it was a 10-foot push.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's knocked back. Scotty, you have a... Actually, everybody, because this thing has just been lurched backwards and tipped on the ship. As the ship kind of lists suddenly a little bit more to the side, I want everybody to make dexterity checks. Or, actually, we'll say that it is... we'll say you can check either your acrobatics or your athletics. Either one of your option.
Acrobatics or what?
Acrobatics or athletics. Your choice.
Oh, great.
Rolls off the ship.
He's holding the wheel. That's something.
This is true. You are holding the wheel, but even advantage doesn't do too hell of a lot to you. Oh god, fucking way to go, Tallow. So this first one here was why does it not say who they were rolling as? Why? Fucking hell. Well, it was so the only one who doesn't make the check is Scotty.
Of course.
But to be fair, Gil only barely makes it himself.
Wow.
So you are lurched 10 feet to the side.
In which direction? Oh,
I've already moved you.
No.
So you were lurched there, and you are considered prone.
And you're what?
And you're considered prone. So you're basically on your hands and knees after this. You kind of picking yourself up. So Roro, you still have your bonus.
I'm sorry, what?
You still have your bonus and your move if you would like to do anything with that.
I wish I could see other people's health. As a bard, I should be allowed to do this.
You're a bard. You're self-centered. You can see your own health.
I'm going to send Healing Word to Syl.
Okay. So 6 points of healing to Syl. Okay, is that all you're going to do with your turn?
That is all I'm doing.
Okay. It comes to her. And, yeah, she wants this thing to be done. Just go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So as she fires at the first one, it just kind of wings the thing to no direct effect. But she places the second one, and it kind of fires directly into the center of that raven. As this thing's eyes just kind of bulge and start to slip off of the ship.
Ah, bitch.
And with that... and for some, gets shot at for that as it's slipping away. Roro, you suddenly, as you're watching this thing, there's that breath of relief that comes over you. It's, oh God, it's finally going down. There's just this. I don't know. You're kind of looking at this thing's eyes as it's starting to glass over a little bit, and you're just kind of like, huh. You feel it kind of gives you a sense of satisfaction that this thing, and of course you helped deal with it. You will regain 2 hit points.
2? Okay.
You gain 2 whole hit points. So as this thing is sliding off the deck, just not... it's been dealt with, but it's sliding off a deck, and suddenly you just reaction, you're like, oh, no you don't. As Gil grabs onto the things and starts trying to pull on the hooked rope net to try and keep it from falling out of the water. Come on! We're not letting this thing get away. We earned this! So, who's going to help him try and drag this thing up?
I will.
Okay, go ahead and roll your athletics.
Scotty, no.
Yeah. So it takes you, Gil, Tallow, Nicole. It takes the 4 of you heaving your ever-loving back into this thing to keep it from slipping off and bleeding out, into the water. Well, it's bleeding out into the water, but you do manage to drag this thing up onto deck. It is not moving. It is dead.
We are men. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Oh.
You just hold on to that one, I guess. So, yeah, you managed to pull this thing up, and... hoo boy, there's a whole lot of squid.
I already don't want any.
As Gil's just kind of got 1 foot up on it, like full Captain Morgan, kind of 1 foot up on it, looking down at it with his grin, just going, I'm good at fishing. Ow.
Maybe try to be less good at it in the...
Oh, come on. You tell me you're not impressed.
Impressed, a little terrified.
Just how it should be. Alright, so how do we cook this thing?
No, that's the question.
Scotty has burning cans.
I don't know if that would make it overdone or not, but... as Syl will kind of walk over, pull a knife from Talo's belt, and start kind of, she goes, drops to her knees in front of this thing and just starts skinning it, for lack of a better word. Starts to carve off pieces of meat, and goes about prepping for storage and or other uses, because she is now apparently the ship's cook. So yeah, congratulations for fighting a very, very young thing of this type.
Does that give me 1 whole point of dexterity? Huh?
I don't know. How many times did you escape it?
Thanks for laughing at me, though.
Double plus good, comrade. All right. So, yeah, that's a thing that happened. And that's a pretty good place to leave it for the week as you're traveling along. Congratulations, Scotty. By the your efforts have kept the boat on track and not capsized.
She's very serious about her navigation job.
Yes.
I technically did not help anything because I made everyone fall. And screamed a lot.
Well,
You
nobody
did
saw
scream
it
a
was
lot.
fine.
Yeah. And nobody saw that, so... Everybody was down on deck. No one saw.
Scotty was like that owl that fell into the snow and looks up real quick.
Dust yourself off. Didn't happen. So, with that, yes, I think enough has happened for you to earn your next level.
Yay!
Which, oh, Rora, I feel so bad for you and what you want.
Why?
The fact is that I thought you had all the requirements.
Should Roro start looking into a different training?
I mean, he hasn't been trained for anything else, is the thing. You can skill train. You can feat train. There are feats that will boost your dexterity up by a point. It does take time, but all things considered, it probably is less time for you to train a feat than it will be for you to gain 4 levels, gain the ASI for it, and then take it on your 5th level. So you might have to be waiting another level before you can take it, but potentially, if there's something that makes sense to you that you want to be trained for.
Instead of a monk, you mean?
Well, no, you can take your bard levels, fine. You just can't take a monk level right now because you don't meet the qualifications.
Oh, okay.
It's literally that one dex point that's holding you back from taking a monk level this time.
Nice. Of course.
But if you look into the feats, and I know we have the handouts for that, there are some that have the product of giving you what is it? Giving you dexterity. So there's a potential for you to train yourself into that skill.
Let's do it. I'm going to release the children.
Okay. Did you want to stay on with us?
It's up to you. In fact, let me just end this real quick. So, click a button, and but yeah, this is we'll be back probably next week for more fun times on the high seas. Yep.